Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela Brill, and I'm the Labor Liaison with United Way. As it's 8:30, I want to start with the fundraising summit to keep everyone's time. So just a few housekeeping going on right now. Little housekeeping right now is if you are a panelist or a speaker, before we promote you from attendee to panelist, please turn on your video and your sound if you are able to. I know we have one panelist calling in from a phone, which is completely okay. And second of all, while we are doing the summit, there are two features at the bottom, a Q&A and a chat box. If you have any specific questions, please use both of those. So the chat for more conversation, and then the Q&A for more direct questions. We'll be asking for both throughout the summit. So thank you all for coming. And next, I want to introduce our new president and CEO, Tom Kelly.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our summit this morning. I'm really glad to be here, and I'm glad that you are here with us. What I'd like to do, first of all, is thank our special sponsor this morning, who is Kentner Cellars. They provide our sponsorship this morning for the summit. And I'd also like to provide a thank you to Montgomery County for the sponsorship of the Business Solutions Center. Even though we're not with you in person today, they did provide that as an option, and we just were not able to exercise it today because of our COVID numbers and because of special requests from many of you on our summit who felt it may be better from a health standpoint if we provide this summit in a virtual standpoint. So I'm really glad that you're participating in the summit this morning. We're really thankful that you're our partners in the community and helping us look at options and ideas to raise funds on behalf of United Way. We really value your partnerships, and we value the fact that you're willing to work with us in our efforts to help individuals and our community be uplifted and move to a better position. That's why we all exist, is to help uplift our communities while we're serving Montgomery, Greene, and Preble counties. What I'd like to do now as we move on into the summit is I'd like to introduce Tracy Sibbing. Tracy will be our next presenter. Tracy will be speaking to you about the Strong Families Program. Tracy is our Vice President of Community Impact. So I'm going to hand off now to Tracy. Thank you again for joining us.
Good morning. I apologize, Daniela. I didn't have my video and my speaker on and ready to go, so I apologize for that. Thank you for the introduction, Tom. As he said, my name is Tracy Sibbing, and I'm the Vice President of Community Impact. And this morning, I want to share a little bit about our Strong Families Project and how we got here to provide you a little bit of context. So 3 years ago, United Way embarked on a strategic plan. As part of that plan, we surveyed our stakeholders and got feedback from our donors, partners, volunteers about the direction that they felt that the United Way should move in for the next 3 years. And one of those overarching themes was to be true to making investments in basic needs so that we could assure that every individual had their basic needs met. To be true to our pillars, which is to promote positive education outcomes, financial stability, and positive health outcomes, but also to think about how we could maximize positive outcomes with the available resources. And so as we looked at the landscape and thought about the investments we were making at the time, one of the programs that kind of rose to the top was a program called the Family Stability Program. This is a program that we've been investing in for Montgomery County for about 9 years at the time, that had really positive outcomes, and it was focused on providing support for families. So we looked at the Family Stability Program and said, let's build this out a bit, add additional partners, rename it Strong Families. So we focus on an entire family with the goals being to have educational stability, which means children have the opportunity to stay in their home school, to learn and make friends, build relationships. One thing that's not up on the screen, but is another focus area, is the parents' education as well. And that kind of ties into the financial stability, helping families have self-sustaining income so that their families can stay in their house, meet their bills, pay their rent, so that they have housing stability as well. And that financial stability comes with providing opportunities for parents to gain more education, some type of a credential, brush up on their resume, soft skills, a variety of things to position parents to be able to go and acquire a higher earning wage career position to help support their family. So those 3 goals are established, and we do that through a 2-generation approach. And so that basically means we look at an entire family, and the mindset is to design programs and policies that serve both the children in the household and the parents simultaneously. We align and coordinate services with other organizations to meet the needs of family members. So we definitely partner with other service providers to make sure that we have the ability to remove as many barriers that stand in the way of the successful accomplishment of those 3 goals that we just identified. And then providing services to both the child and adult and tracking the outcomes. Our case management system basically works with the parents to establish a family success plan. So we focus on goals for everyone in the household that will help those individuals get closer to academic stability, housing stability, and financial stability. And I should have one more slide, I believe. Just kind of shows you the process. So families are referred to the program, to case management, and the referrals can come from the education service centers, but really they can come from any of our partners or any community members in our 3-county area. We have case management services available in Montgomery and Greene, and soon hopefully to be Preble. And then parents work with case managers to create the family success plan, and goals for children and parents and the family are set. Those goals can change over time. If a family enrolls in the Strong Families program, it may be that they have quite a few barriers to work on. And so the goals are set with achievable goals. So we might set a goal on the front end that's accomplished and then go after additional goals later. So those family success plans evolve over time, and really are driven by what the parents, what they want to accomplish and where they want to go. And then direct linkages are to required service to accomplish the identified goals. And so one way that we do that is that we also have some basic needs investments and other partners within our 3-county area that provide services. And so it's really important for us, and we're very thoughtful about the idea that we don't want to duplicate efforts. And so as case managers identify the services that are needed for families, they also tap into available resources that may already exist in the community. And this allows us to align our efforts and wrap around families in a very comprehensive way without duplication. We meet monthly with our partners to talk about the program, evaluate the data, identify gaps and opportunities, and then ongoing case management until the outcomes are achieved. But again, those plans and those goals for individual families can evolve over time. So there is no specific required amount of time for families. They move at their own pace through the process. So they could be with us as short and little as 2 months or as long as 18 months. Really just depends on how many barriers need to be removed and how many goals those families want to set. And so that's really our Strong Families program. We also have the Strong Families Fund, which used to be the Live United Fund. And that allows us, again, to think about making investments in other really crucial safety net services that are provided in our 3-county area. Because again, as I said, United Way is committed to meeting basic needs, to standing up our pillars of education, income, and health, but also to wrapping around families so that they have every opportunity to be successful and stable in the communities. And basically it just feeds right into our mission of uplifting our neighbors. And that is our goal. And that is our hope that you will all join us in helping to assure that these goals are met. And with that, I would like to introduce Terry Laputa, who is the Associate Vice President for Resource Development.
Thank you so much, Tracy, and to everyone who is on this webinar with us. We really appreciate you taking the time to hear a little bit more about the work United Way is doing in the community. And as Tracy just shared, we're doing, you know, a lot of the same things, but we're also working a little bit differently. And that's what we wanted to share with you today. And one of the ways we work a little differently is, and you may or may not know this, but we work year round. Yes, we are starting our campaign season, right? And that is still a very, very, very important part of what we do. But we work year round. And we need more people to help support this work. We need more resources to move forward, to create more strong families. And as Tracy mentioned, yes, there is a Strong Families program, but it really is also an initiative, because we know that the more strong families we are able to have in our community, the stronger the community is going to be, and that benefits everyone. So what I want to do is just take a few minutes to share some ideas and ways that you can support even beyond this year's campaign effort. First of all, of course, we're talking about the importance of giving, because in order to do the work we need to do, we have to have the resources to do it. So, you know, hopefully you all are going to have very successful campaign efforts. And we really appreciate all the work that you do to make sure that you do have strong efforts. Part of that is corporate giving in addition to the employee giving. So many of you may already be at an organization that the corporation also supplies a gift. If not, maybe you could ask your leadership if that's a possibility, because that helps add to the result, that helps provide more resources for our work. Special events, these can be done as part of your campaign. These can also be done at any time during the course of the year if you would like to do something to raise awareness and to raise resources for United Way. And also special events, talking about when United Way has special events, we hope that you will maybe be able to stop by and attend, whether it's a concert like we had in May as part of our micro campaign around strong families, or other special events that we have throughout the year. We hope that you would join us, and feel free to bring a friend or two. Sponsorships, these can be for these special events that we have throughout the year. And also sponsorship of things like our digital marketplace, Prosperity, which we launched last year. And this is to help struggling families in our community keep more money in their budget. So it offers special discounts on various services that businesses provide in our community, also information on health and human services. So it's a nice way for folks to stay connected and maybe get a little bit of assistance to help them with their household budgets, keep a little more money in their budget. New employee orientations or programs you have for folks that are getting ready to retire. We have information you can share with both of these groups. If there are opportunities for someone from United Way to come in and briefly speak, we're more than willing to do that. Along those same lines, lunch and learn sessions that can be done throughout the year. Those are a great way to spread the word. Leadership giving. If there are folks at your organization that are able to give at that level, and that is at $1,000 or more. We would love to have more folks that are able to give at that level, and there are ways that this can be done gradually, like a step program, and your representative will be happy to share this information with you. Along those lines, we have various affinity groups. There's the John Moore Society for our African American leadership donors, and they focus on supporting Freedom Schools, which is a summer program for at-risk youth. There are other affinity groups as well. The Retiree Committee is something that we are getting up and started. So if you know someone that is getting close to that magic age, we would like to more information. We would love to be able to share that and to bring more folks on board. Special appeals, United for Strong Families. Again, that was our micro campaign that was at the end of the year, and we had a concert that was a part of that. That's another opportunity. We are working on something new this year called United Way Day. I believe that's supposed to be in April. We will have more information on that, but we're looking to do that community-wide. And we will, again, as I said, share more information on that. And every once in a while, United Way is part of Giving Tuesday. So that's another opportunity to share. Grants are another one. If your organization has an internal grant and you think that that might be a way that United Way, you all can partner with United Way, that's another opportunity. And of course, beyond the giving, we encourage folks to volunteer. There are regular community-wide days where you can join in either with your organization or individually or with other groups to participate. And our Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which I believe is the 16th for this, well, in 23. Our Global Youth Service Days, which will be April the 28th through the 30th in 2023. Our Day of Action, which is actually coming up this weekend. That is going to be on Saturday the 10th. And we have our Make a Difference Day, which is in October, the 21st through the 22nd. And our big one is our Day of Action, which is always in June. And this year it's going to be on Friday the 23rd and Saturday the 24th. Now, in addition to this, Nick Eddy is our Volunteer Connections Manager, and you can let your representative know if you want to have a special volunteer opportunity, either as part of your campaign or at another time during the year, and we're happy to assist in getting that set up. I mentioned volunteering with friends and families, churches, and civic groups. You can get these folks together. We can help you get connected to an opportunity. And we are also always looking for volunteers, our committees and councils. Advocate is another way to get involved. Sharing information on United Way and the work we're doing with those in your network. Bringing others to United Way special events to hear more information. Subscribing to our quarterly newsletter. Inviting United Way representatives to various meetings and events like those lunch and learns to just share information. And to learn more about this, you can always visit our website, www.dayton-unitedway.org. What are the benefits? There are lots of them that are benefits for engaging with United Way year-round. For you, Career building skills, networking opportunities within your organization and beyond, recognition within your organization. For your organization, it's a strengthening of the employee and employer relationship. It's an opportunity for team building. Corporate recognition for the organization in the community. Improved customer relations and loyalty. We know that people like to deal with businesses that care about the community and have philanthropic interests and goals. And also, this provides engagement, leadership opportunities for your employees. You're helping to strengthen your employees' skill set, and that can benefit your organization. And of course, for the community, you're improving lives throughout our region, and you have a strong community. As I mentioned, creating more strong family creates a stronger community that benefits everyone. So you can keep in touch with your United Way representative who can provide more information on ways that you can stay involved. We always encourage your feedback and your ideas because we want to continually improve opportunities for both engagement and outreach. And remember also, if you know someone who needs assistance, you can always let your representative know, or you can encourage them to contact our HelpLink 211 by dialing 211. And someone is there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to answer questions and to help them get connected to available resources within our community. Very, very important. So that is it for my session. And now I want to turn it over to Ed Adams, who is from an organization, SRC. He is a senior manager, EW Engineering Analysis for SRC. And SRC is a wonderfully supportive organization that has done a lot of partnership with United Way over the years. And Ed is going to talk a little bit about why they support United Way and some of the ways that they support United Way beyond the United Way campaign. Ed?
Ed, you are unmuted. Stephanie was able to unmute you. I think we are having a little bit of technical difficulties with Ed. So if everyone is okay, we're going to work that out behind the scenes and move on to our panelists. So thank you so much, Ed. We're going to work that out. Ed is calling in for his line, so we're going to see what's going on. But what we're going to do next in our schedule is actually go to our 3-person panel. So this is kind of a crux every year that we do for the Fundraising Summit. So I want to welcome this year Mary Garman, who is the COO of Miami Valley North Hospital for Premier Health, Jacob Veit, who is the area manager for Team Fishel, and also Morgan Arwood, the membership director of the Dayton Builders Exchange. I always call it DBX. But I wanted to give the full name today. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. I know the shift, I just want to thank you all for being so flexible with us and also always being so supportive of United Way. So I wanted to kind of just jump in generally with a question to Mary and Jacob. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the transition that's happened over the past, particularly 2 years, as a lot of things are back to in-person, some are hybrid, some are still working from home. So Mary, I want to kick off by asking you, how do you create excitement for the United Way campaign, and how do you get people involved for what has changed in the past 2 years?
Well, good morning, Danielle, and thank you for having me as part of the panel. You're right, things have really changed over the last few years just with the pandemic. And I would just tell you that from a Premier Health perspective, we ran an enterprise-wide campaign. So within that campaign, we have our corporate office, which is downtown. And that office has actually gone, many of those employees are now working virtually, which has really changed the opportunities that we've had to bring people together, to celebrate, to have various activities in fundraising efforts for United Way. So we've had to really think, how do we connect with people differently in that corporate office? Much of that is virtual then. So we've used some multimedia campaigning, we've used emails, we've used our internal networking system, and then we've made phone calls and we've established champions. Every year we bring together a steering committee of people across the system. So we have individuals from our hospital down in the Middletown market, from Atrium Medical Center. We have representatives from our Miami Valley Hospital South, our Miami Valley Hospital main campus, our North Campus of Miami Valley, and Upper Valley Medical Center, as well as our Fidelity Healthcare, Samaritan Behavioral Health, and our Premier Physician Network. So that steering committee really figures out what is the best way to connect with people in their region, in their hospitals, and in their various settings. So we've tried to be creative. We've put out a beautiful video. I will just tell you, we had great support from our communications team, and the video really talked about the importance of United Way and highlighted just some of the organizations that benefit from the work that we do. So that's just a bit, and we actually have always had a top level support for the campaign itself. So it's always kicked off by our president and sending a very nice message of support. And then we keep in touch with people throughout the campaign to make sure that our messaging stays out there and our contributions continue to come.
That's awesome. And I think one great thing that Premier Health does is that I see is really using multi-channels. You really kind of get your team and really support the team and the stewardship team to really go out and talk and make connections and advocate for United Way. I think that's part of the reason you and Premier Health are so successful, is because you're able to use all the resources, and everyone at Premier Health knows that it's an entire organizational lift to really support United Way. And I always thought that was amazing about Premier Health, and to hear you say that in 2020 that you're using a lot of different variations to make sure you catch all those people is, I think, what we're going to all have to do moving forward, and in the past 2 years especially. So I would like to ask the same question to Jacob. How do you create excitement for the United Way campaign, and how do you get people involved at Team Fishel?
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for inviting me to be a part of this meeting. Agree that there were a lot of challenges over the past few years, just in terms of communication in general, on all things, and in addition to the United Way promoting the campaign. We typically use a hybrid approach as well, and we've been able to get back to some more in-person meetings with our group. We always try to promote the long-standing relationship that Team Fishel has had with United Way and the good work that United Way does in our community. We feel like that your organization, our organization, align very closely in terms of our culture and our values, and we try to promote that to our teammates as well. One thing that we do at Team Fishel in relation to our United Way campaign is we do attach an incentive to any of our teammates that donate at minimum $5 out of each paycheck over the course of the year. We give them an additional paid holiday. The Friday after Thanksgiving is a automatic paid holiday for the teammates that donate to the campaign. I think that really helps incentivize our teammates and drive engagement. And one of the last things I guess I'll mention that we do is we encourage Terry Laputa, our rep, to join us at our meetings and help get the message out to our teammates. Terry does a good job of bringing excitement and promoting the Strong Families idea, which I think really resonates with our teammates. So I think getting that involvement, someone that's very close to the work the United Way does and brings that enthusiasm, I think that really helps promote the program to our teammates.
Yeah, and I think you touched on two very different points, which I think is it's really key to the success of a United Way campaign. First, to me, paid holidays, that's something amazing that you guys do. That really gets everyone involved. Any PTO or pay day off or anything like that, even sometimes even Jeans Friday, I know depending on your kind of company and policy, but that's amazing that you guys do paid time off, you do incentives, because that really can help maybe again incentivize people to at least listen to the United Way and give, because every dollar counts when it comes to United Way. So that's amazing. Another point, which I'm glad you touched on, which is so important, is really reaching out and collaborating with your United Way support person. So obviously, Mary, for you and Jacob, it's Terry, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Stephanie, but that's really key too, is really reaching out and working closely, because there are new things happening at United Way. And for us being able to message that and to get so involved is really important. So thank you for mentioning that. That's awesome. So next, I want to go to Morgan from the DBX. Woo! And I wanted to ask, what have you done outside of a traditional workplace campaign to support United Way? I know DBX does so many things besides running a traditional United Way campaign to support United Way.
Yes, we do. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you for having me. I really am honored to be asked to be a part of this panel. So the Builders Exchange Dayton, or the Dayton Builders Exchange, is an organization of construction trade companies and unions and we serve the construction industry in the greater Miami Valley, and we've been here for 110 years. Our time with Terry and with Daniela dates back to early to mid 2000s. My boss, Bob Pope, is a gigantic supporter of the United Way. And we support the United Way because this organization is a safety net for our community. We've worked with Terry forever. Part of the fun of it is that while we're supporting the United Way, we're also having a lot of fun doing it. So it's not entirely altruistic. Some of the things that we've done over the course of my tenure are cruise-ins. So we find dealerships or different places where we can have our membership bring in their, beautiful cars. They pay a registration to get there. We have a fantastic day. It's family oriented. And we have prize money sponsored by some of our member companies. And what was really beautiful was that as we were handing out the prizes, I think 95% handed their prize money right back to United Way. So it just made us feel good that we were doing the right thing. Another thing that we've done that was kind of unorthodox was we had a prom. So we invited all of our member companies to dress up in their, prom attire and come and have a nice, dancing with their spouses and some drinks and some refreshments. And it was just a really good night. And it feels good again to give back to United Way. We've done, every year we have a evening called Team Building Night. That's when the construction industry comes together and just kind of honors the buildings that have been put up within the last year. And it's often schools or airports. It's commercial buildings. But, Terry's always very generous with her time and comes and kind of talks about United Way. And we have kind of a unique opportunity with having, 400 members. We are able to tell all 400 of our member companies about the United Way and what supporting United Way does for our community. Us at the Builders Exchange Dayton have all of our staff are 100%. We all give $5 every paycheck. So that's a point of pride for us. We've done giveaways. We've given away gift certificates, turkeys. So member companies that have employee participants will draw them from a hat and give them a turkey in the fall for Thanksgiving. We've given away Apple Watches. One time, our DBX staff had a car wash, and so we let all of our members know that if they came and donated some money, that their DBX staff would go ahead and wash their car for them. So we had a lot of participation in that. They thought it was really funny. We've given away a drone. We like to participate in the Day of Giving or the Day of Action. I myself have been to a couple of those, and it's hugely satisfying when you see the faces of the people that you're helping, and so we like to support in that way also. I've got some more notes here. I guess that pretty much covers it. But yeah, so supporting United Way is important for Builders Exchange, and it can also be a lot of fun. So thank you for all the fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Morgan. And something you touched on is how, particularly like the network effect of someone like the DBX, like advocating. You have 400 different members, so it's potentially 400 different organizations that could support United Way, and you promote United Way and advocate for United Way, and we're very thankful of that. And it's just one way, that advocacy, to get others to support United Way and really see the message of United Way. Also, I've been to the cruise-in and it is amazing. I'd never seen a classic car before, so that's a little side story, but it was amazing. And it's really, they do so many different things out of the box. So all of those, whether it's the prom or the cruise-in or advocating for United Way with their member organizations, is amazing. And thank you so much for that. Next, I wanted to go back to Jacob. Hot seat. And I wanted to ask you, what are some of the successes and failures, or successes and difficulties, in running the United Way campaign, especially over the past 2 years?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with the difficulties. I think kind of touched on it in the first question too, is just the challenges of being able to get in front of our teammates and the communication piece. Typically, during normal times, we would have at least one monthly, all hands safety meeting where we were bringing together all of our teammates. We were meeting in one location for an hour and a half to talk about safety and talk about things like our United Way campaign or other initiatives that are going on throughout our company. During COVID, we were unable to do that. We adapted. We continued to either have web-based calls or just phone calls, conference calls, where we still needed to get our messages out and discuss safety and talk with our teammates, but that certainly was something that was more difficult. But fortunately, we've been able to get back to more of a hybrid model where we are able to meet together and communicate with our group. So that, I would say, is one of the most difficult things, is just getting the message out. In terms of successes, I think one of the things that we've done very well is with assistance from our corporate team and our IT department. So we do what we call mobile daily field reports. That's how everyone enters their time and their the work that they did for the day, and log that. And as it relates to our United Way campaign, our IT department has made basically its own little tool within our DFR platform, where members of our team can enter their donation pledges, their pledge cards, basically digitally from wherever they're working that day. So in terms of something that's been very successful for us, is just trying to remove some friction from the process of donating, make it as easy for our teammates as possible. And then we also have a very strong team, a lot of tenured teammates that have been with Team Fishel for a very long time, and understand the partnership that we have with United Way. A lot of times those are the teammates that are using the mobile field reports, and so they're able to reach out to maybe a newer teammate that's not as familiar with the partnership that we have, and say, hey, I'm entering time for today. The mobile pledge card is right there. Would you like to donate to United Way? And basically just try to make that process as simple as we can.
Yeah, and that's something that I see a lot that Team Fishel does really well, is trying to engage people wherever, their employees, wherever they're at, whether they're in the field, whether they're in the office. Because again, with technology, it's also amazing, but what you guys do in making sure that every single employee has the opportunity to pledge and give and interact with United Way. And that's one strong thing. Again, meeting employees where they're at, I think, is so important, especially in their day-to-day, because you can, I don't know, but having everyone come and sit down at a computer inside an office may not necessarily be the best for taking a half an hour out of their day, while making it an option for them to do it on the go as they're doing their normal job. So I think that's amazing, something that Team Fishel does. And it's a true success that can translate to a lot of different organizations. So next, I want to go to Mary and ask a similar question. What has been Premier Health successes and difficulties over the past year or 2 years?
So one of the things that I did last year with our campaign was to bring in a number of other executives to help provide that influence and that support. But as part of that connection process, I wanted them to understand the realities of what's going on in their own communities, both their community where they work as well as their community where they live, and just talk about some of the needs and some of the people who are being served within those communities. And I think for those executives, it was somewhat surprising and somewhat of an eye-opener. And so once they could see that, then they could understand why they should give and why they should encourage others to give. So I would say that was a big success. We've also found, like others, that the prizes are very much an important part of our campaign. And we've run a few campaigns over the years where we've not had prizes, and we've gone back and made those as part of the process. And what we've also done with that then is just to highlight those who have won the prizes through giving. One of the most interesting and fun one was our entry-level employees. We have found that many of them love the campaign. And we have a woman who runs our laundry facility, and she's been with the organization for 20 plus years. So 2 years ago, she was fortunate to win an iPad. And when we went to make that presentation, which we do, many times these gifts are presented by members of our steering committee. And we asked them, why do you give to United Way? And she said, I've always given to United Way because I understand that there are people who are less fortunate than me. But she was absolutely thrilled to win the iPad. And so then we take a picture and we post that on our internal internet, and we just talk about how others can help those who are less fortunate, and highlight some of the testimonies of those long-term givers. So I would say that those have been some pretty big successes for us. In regards to some of the difficulties, we do a lot of tapping into our employees for financial support for various other organizations, as well as our own internal foundations. And so we do get some of that donor fatigue. And so it's important that we look at the timing that we are making our ask, that we're running our campaigns, and we understand what else is going on within the organization, so that we can still maintain our own separate time for giving, and make sure there's enough separation between the various campaigns that we're running within our organization. So those what I think are probably some of our biggest successes and some of the challenges that we ran into.
Awesome. You touched on something very important. Well, actually many things, but the first one is really the promotion of long-term givers. There are some people probably within every organization who have been giving to United Way for 5, 10, 15, 20, sometimes for us, 30 years. And to have someone who has been giving that long to win a prize or to be recognized is something really amazing. And it's definitely something to highlight within your organization. And if you would like that information, reach out to your ECC. Those long-term givers who's been with your company, you're supporting United Way for potentially decades. That's amazing, and something I'm glad that was highlighted. Another great thing you touched on was your intranet. So that's another great way to spread the message of United Way, is to, if you have a newsletter, if you have the intranet, not just during the campaign, but throughout the year, mentioning about United Way, mentioning about what's going on with the community, what's going on, the successes that we're having United Way, and not just the issues going on with the community, which is part of it, but also highlighting some of the successes that we're able to have in improving where their dollars are going. So that's amazing that you guys use the intranet. And I just want to mention shout out about newsletters and all of those different things that can be done, because I think Premier Health, you guys are at the forefront of doing that. And that's amazing for United Way. So next, moving on is you kind of touched on this a little bit, Mary, which I think is so key, and it's donor fatigue. And I wanted to really talk about how do each of your companies deal with donor fatigue. So Jacob, if you would like to start this off, but it's really about dealing about the consistent ask and how you and Team Fishel overcome that.
Yeah, sure. So, I think part of it is the incentive that we discussed earlier. I think folks get into the rhythm of, understanding that it's a benefit to the community. It's the right thing to do regardless of an incentive. But if there's that incentive there, it's just that, right? It's going to incentivize folks to continue to engage. So that's one of the things certainly that I think helps defeat the donor fatigue. Part of it is, again, the culture piece and the partnership that we've had, the longstanding partnership with United Way. It's almost something that is reflexive for our teammates. It's something that they know when the campaign's going to start. They know that it's something that we're going to do and that we're going to promote. And we've had success just by highlighting the need in the community. I think the Strong Families message really hits home with our teammates. We've got teammates from a diverse background, working in the construction and utility industry. And, we're out in the community day in and day out doing our work, and they're seeing the need. And I think that really resonates. So again, we leverage Terry. We promote the need in the community. We talk about doing the right thing and how it aligns with our culture and our values. And, we've had great success, and we hope to continue that. So, it's really the incentive, the culture piece, and the understanding the need, and that, we're very fortunate to be in a position where we can help, and it's the right thing to do.
Definitely. And like culture, like the culture, which is something both Team Fishel, Premier Health, and the DBX all have. It's a culture of giving, a culture of investing into your community. And I think that really helps transcend donor fatigue if it's baked into the company, that social responsibility. So that's amazing. Next, I know, Mary, you touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to ask if you have any other ideas about Premier Health overcoming donor fatigue, especially in the past 2 years.
So I think that part of the real focus, like I said, is just to make sure that people understand the why they should give, and to acknowledge and recognize those who want to be acknowledged and recognized, and to make sure that although we have other groups that we support that are really important, United Way has a broad, I call it a broad umbrella of areas in which they're providing support in the community. And I always tell people, if we have a healthy community, our organizations as a whole will be healthier as well. And so I think that is just one really important message that we try and get out, is think about the community of which you live, and think about the conditions of the community and how do we make them healthier. And that's just part of our mission at Premier Health, is to build healthy communities. So, looking at that connection between missions, and trying to get people to understand that internally we have needs, but externally there are just as big of needs. And so we need to keep up the energy and the support for things like United Way. The other thing I think is really important is to share the programs which people can connect with, and that appear to be areas where people can be passionate about. So if you get them to understand which programs are being offered through United Way, then you can also help them understand, hey, maybe this is one that is an area where you feel like you can support and be passionate. And so I think it's just the more we communicate and we share those messages, I think the more we can overcome some of that fatigue.
Yeah, I think that's 100% true. And especially highlighting programs particularly for us, HelpLink, that I know is key, the connecting of resources for all of the areas that we cover. We venture all outside of our Montgomery Green and Preble, and also VetsLink, all of these different programs, Prosperity for people living paycheck to paycheck, making sure that we voice all of these, and some of our funded agencies, making sure that we fund and we voice what we're supporting and what we're doing, and that your dollar isn't going floating, but there are real resources available if you or someone you know needs them. And I think that is amazing. So the last question for you is, I'm going to start off with Jacob again, is how has your employee giving changed over the years?
So I've been in my position 2.5 years here in Dayton. I was in Western Pennsylvania prior to that. I can say that during my time in Dayton, it's remained fairly consistent. We've seen some increase, which is good, and part of that is, I think, the persistent messaging about the campaign and promoting United Way with our group. So last year we had a very successful campaign. I think we, in general, we do have a lot of long-term teammates, but there's in the construction industry, it's not uncommon to have a fairly high turnover rate with some of the labor positions, skilled labor, things like that. So just again, keeping that consistency with the messaging, encouraging our leadership group and our long-term teammates to speak with the newer teammates, and again, be persistent with communicating that. I think we have a younger group overall than we've had in the past. So again, just the messaging piece, making sure everybody is aware of the campaign and the program that we do, and then trying to absorb them into that culture of giving that we've built over the years in the partnership with United Way. I think we try to do a good job of promoting a good, stable work environment for our teammates, and I think part of that leads into the willingness to give. If you feel like there's a good opportunity for advancement and a good, stable workplace, and you can count on work being there for you longer term, it makes it more likely that you're going to be able to see the benefit in donating a certain amount out of each paycheck to the United Way.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing you touched on is really amazing that I know Team Fishel is doing, is really wrapping that culture around young workers, particularly for your team, and really having people, starting out young, or however your definition of young is, but starting out young and really getting people involved in the culture and giving and investing in your community. And I think doing that can help a little bit in overcoming changing patterns, or really explaining why United Way is so important. So next I want to go to Mary and ask the same question: is how has your employee giving, from what you've seen, changed over the past few years?
So a couple of things, and one of the first points I would make is that as a steering committee, and as I mentioned before, we have multiple entities that are part of our campaign. And so, we focused a little bit more on the data. So we look at the number of individuals who have been contributors for long periods of time. We look at those who have just joined us as new givers and new contributors to our campaign. We've looked at our total dollar contribution and our amount per employee, things like that. So we've put some data together, and then we track that year over year so we can understand where our progress has been. And I think for the steering committee, that's been a bit fun, and it's created a little bit of competition and really gotten them energized to make sure that they continue to progress. And so that's been one thing that we've done over the last couple of years, just to keep the energy level high. I think the other thing that we've done is we've gone to the electronic pledging process, and that's been huge. However, we also have some traditional supporters who still like their paper pledges. So we've offered the 3 different processes for giving, and the texting and the electronic email process, as well as then the paper pledge. And so that has definitely changed over time. And I think it has actually helped us to just make it easier for people to give as as I believe Jacob said earlier, it needs to be easy. So those would probably be two of the biggest ways that we have seen our contributions or our campaigns run differently. I guess one other key point just to mention is we used to have a lot of on-site celebrations, popcorn drives and ice cream events and things like that. And unfortunately, just because of some of the social distancing that we have to do, we have not been able to have those types of events. However, I would say that last year was a really good year for us. So I think that it has saved us a little bit on the preparation time and the event time. However, from a contribution perspective, I think last year was a really strong year for us. So those would just be the highlights I would share.
Okay. And I think, again, one amazing point you touched on, Mary, which I think, Jacob, you touched on, and I think everyone has kind of spoken about is, like I said before, meeting people where they are. The fact that as large of an organization as Premier Health is, that you do Mobile Cause, which if anyone on the attendees are viewing this, Mobile Cause is actually our text to give platform that we can set up. It's very streamlined. It's very easy. That as being one method. E-pledge was electronic pledging, and then you also have paper. And I think that's amazing that Premier Health kind of, again, meets people where they are to overcome, especially, again, you have many different locations and employees that do many different jobs that might not interact necessarily with a computer. So the fact that you offer all three, I think is something really amazing, again, to meet people where they're at. So at that point, that's kind of the end of my questions, but I want to thank all of you for coming out. Again, thank you, Morgan, Jacob, and Mary. You know, Dayton Builders Exchange, Team Official, and Premier Health are amazing, constant supporters of United Way and have been for years and years and years. And I know every single one of these companies and all of you will be supporters years to come. So before we go, I wanted to open it up for a few minutes for questions. If anyone had any questions about the panel to me or any of our panelists right now, if you want to, if you can please put that in the chat box, that would be amazing. It's just on the bottom of your screen, and I am looking at that right now. So. But yeah, while people are doing that, again, thank you all three of you for coming on, and everyone represents very different sectors of our community, yet it can show how everyone working together can really change our community and support United Way. So I want to thank all of you for that. I'm not getting any questions in the chat, but if you have any questions, everyone, please, about anything that you've seen presented from Tom to Tracy to Terry to myself to the panelists, please put it in the chat box and I will be looking at it through the rest of our presentation. But thank you all so much for joining me. And I also now believe that Ed Adams is on our call right now. And Ed Adams, again, is with SRC, and I'm going to see if he has the ability to speak. He's calling from particularly a different type of location. So if we are able to get Ed on the line. We are switching things as we speak, so awesome. So again, while we're switching to see if Ed can come up, I again want to thank everyone who took the time to come here today. I know this was a little bit of a change in venue, but we all want to thank you for coming on and sharing this morning with us to hear about all the different ways to support United Way, what's been going on with United Way, and kind of everything in general. So we are waiting to see if Ed can be promoted. I see Ed Adams in our panelist. So
hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
yes, I can, Ed. Thank you so much. I know it's a little bit of a turnaround, but thank you so much.
No apologies. So as you can see, I'm probably the biggest pain to Team United Way here because I work in a classified environment. So as you can imagine, it's pretty difficult to go through Zoom calls and firewalls and disable systems and a plethora of other things. A lot of hoops I got to jump through to do this. So I was able to walk outside, go old school, and get on a phone here. So here I am. So thanks for the opportunity to speak here. Thanks to Mary and Jacob and Morgan. I found their comments very informative and very helpful. I feel like we're all kind of in the same boat. So I guess that's good that we're sailing together. For me, again, Ed Adams, I support SRC Inc., which previously was known as Syracuse Research Corporation. But that's a lot to say and nobody wants to say it anymore. So we are now just SRC. So life is good for us. I am a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. By pure dumb luck, I was able to retire from Wright-Patt. I'm actually from Springfield, so I'm a local. I've been with SRC for 11 years now, and I've been running the United Way campaign for them for the past 10. So in year 2, I was kind of wrangled into it, and I have not looked back since. It's been a great experience and a great opportunity. Working with United Way, with the awesome folks that you've already seen on the call so far today. I'm also with the Greene County Advisory Board, so just another way that I can be a pain to Rebecca Cantrell over there. So why stop with just one site? But SRC, SRC has been around for a little more than 60 years now. We are based out of Syracuse. But there are a few large regional offices like the Dayton office that kind of stand up on their own 2 feet. So one of those, the largest one being the one here in Dayton. And again, SRC, very unique in that we are a not-for-profit defense contractor. So if you think about the big boys like Boeing and Lockheed Martin and all those kind of groups that everybody's heard of, we're like that, but we're not-for-profit. So the benefit of that is everything that we make as a profit goes directly to R&D, trying to do the next best thing for the customer, or the fringes and the benefits and things to benefit the cut or the employees. And then the third thing that we do is philanthropy. So we do a lot of things that are philanthropic. SRC loves to give money away to the philanthropic community. So and what they really like to do, being that we're kind of an engineering centric firm, we do a lot of things for STEM, we do a lot of things for the military, and we do a lot of things for the United Way. And we found out that with the United Way, we can support these and a plethora of other activities. So what we call our Super Bowl every year is our annual campaign to United Way, and then the emphasis on STEM and military and things like that. But the communities that we live in. So, and again, I'm a local guy, so I'm definitely looking, at being able to do that as well. So, so SRC will donate heavily to the United Way. About half of the Dayton SRC team is actually a veteran as well. So for that reason alone, SRC a couple of years ago worked with United Way to help stand up Vets Link, which supports all of the Miami Valley. The 200,000+ veterans that live in this community. So that was very important for us to do as well. I think beyond that, I think the things that we like to do, again, besides STEM and the Military United Way, we look for other things that we can do within the community. Messaging is difficult, like some of the, what we heard Mary and Jacob and Morgan saying, messaging can be difficult, especially in this time where, things are always just seem like they're always going the wrong direction. The pandemic did not help that at all. And we were very, surprised and relieved to find that a lot of our, staff was willing to step up and do even more during that time. And I think a lot of it is about the messaging, just reminding people, we're the fortunate ones, we're the lucky ones that, we're able to stay employed and keep running during, such a tough time. And focusing on that, letting them understand, that a lot of others were not as fortunate. So we focused on that heavily over the last couple of years. Other things we like to do is try to come up with a theme. I work with a bunch of engineers, so they like geeky stuff. So, one year was, create your own Star Wars poster. This year maybe we'll do something for Top Gun Maverick, because we do a lot of engineering things with aircraft. So find something neat and interesting that, makes them want to get involved. Those are the kind of things that, we're kind of reaching out for. Outside the box, New York, Central New York, where our headquarters is based, they're hitting their 100-year mark for supporting the United Way in that area, which is awesome. But the campaign, which normally would be this month, would actually be right now. We're now doing at the end of November and early December to line up with that 100-year mark for them. So unfortunately, we're not, doing our campaign right now, which is kind of a big thing for us. But not even knowing that this was going to happen a year ago during the last campaign, I was talking to Rebecca and I was like, hey, maybe we can try a golf tournament. Those seem to do pretty well. And then I just kind of got out of the way, and Rebecca just went all in on this thing. And it's just blown up into this huge, Strong Families Classic that's going to kick off here in a couple of weeks. And guess what? It just happens to replace that very same time frame for, for donations that our normal campaign would have. Now is going to be provided with the Strong Families, Golf Classic that we're sponsoring along with SearTech and a bunch of others. So the money raised from that will kind of help bridge that gap until we get to the fall and we actually do our campaign. And one of the things that's kind of put us in a different category, I guess, when it comes to pledging. Again, mentioning that that the SRC really does like to give back to their communities. They match whatever I as a contributor donate to the campaign, and do that across the company. So every dollar that we raise or we donate or we pledge, the company matches that dollar. So, we're not giving 40 grand to, the local United Way, we're giving 80 grand because of their match. During VetsLink, because they wanted to stand that program up so badly, they did a $2 match. So every dollar we raised, they put an additional $2 in there. So those are the kind of things, looking outside the box, if you can, advocating as best as you can without harassing and bugging them, because everybody's donating and contributing their time and their money to something. It's just for us, we look at the United Way as kind of a one-stop shop, because no matter what it is that we're supporting, they probably have a connection to, whether directly or indirectly. So whatever, our passions are to support, we know the local United Way is going to get that done for us. So that's kind of why we do what we do for them. So I think that's my 5 minutes. So with that, I'm going to step out and turn it back over to Danielle.
Awesome, Ed. Again, thank you for being so flexible. And thank you for presenting, and thank you to SRC for everything that you do. One of the best things Ed touched on, which I wanted to briefly mention, is all the different ways that SRC supports United Way. It's the Strong Families Golf Outing. It's the corporate match. It's standing up VetsLink, which is a core part of the veteran community, is a core part of our community and every community. And they're so supportive of United Way and so philanthropic. They're really amazing partners for United Way. And an extra plug, just an asterisk, there are still spots available for the Strong Families Golf Classic, and you can contact Rebecca Cantrell for that. Shameless plug, I know. So finally, I wanted to introduce, again, asterisk on the conversation. If you have any questions about anything that you've heard, please put them in the chat box below. But I wanted to introduce Antoinette Hampton, our VP of Resource Development, and introduce again Tom Kelly, our President and CEO, kind of wrap up United Way and to wrap up the summit.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm just trying to find my camera to turn my camera on. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Daniela and the team, I want to let you all know that you've done a fabulous job. I so much appreciate you all and all the efforts you put into to this event, but not only this event, but shifting the event to accommodate so many of our guests today. So thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you, all of you that were able to attend, for joining us today to learn about the amazing things that United Way is doing in our community. We so much appreciate all your support, both your time and treasure. I guess now I am also supposed to mention the winner of the gift card giveaway. So that winner is Jacob Veit, who has won a $25 gift card to Target. So congratulations, Jacob. You can reach out to Daniela and she will let you know how you can receive your gift card. So again, thank you for joining us. I also wanted to mention to you later on today, you will receive a survey that we would appreciate if all of you could complete that survey and get it back into our team, just so that we can see what we can do better, how we can bring this event to you differently, what things that you would like to see us change to make the work that we're doing better in terms of not only our work, but how we communicate with you and how we participate in your workplace campaign. I also wanted to announce to you the different events that we have coming up. Danielle has already mentioned our Greene County Strong Families Golf Classic, which takes place on September the 16th. Our Hope to Dreams event, formerly known as Beds for Kids, takes place on September the 17th. Make a Difference Day takes place on October the 22nd. Our Big Thanks event takes place in April, generally about the third, fourth week in April. We'll get those dates out to you once we have settled on that date. Our Global Youth Service Day taking place April the 28th through the 30th. Our Stronger Together fundraiser, it takes place May 8th through the 30th, and Day of Action takes place June the 21st. So more information will come out to you, so please keep an eye on your emails and in your mailbox. Thank you so much again for attending. And now I'm going to turn it over to our new President and CEO, Tom Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoinette. And so again, I want to thank everyone who's attended this morning. I really want to thank our panelists. I want to thank Mary, Ed, Jacob, and Morgan for sharing all their expertise and everything that they've been doing, not just recently, but over the years, for everything they've done to really build their campaigns, to work with their employees, to help everyone understand just how important giving to United Way is. And, I don't have to go far to let you know why it's important, because they've already made the statements. If I just go back and point out some of the things that they've shared, whether it was community values, the safety net, family, doing the right thing, the culture of investing, why we need to have healthy communities, the fact that we're a safety net and we're supporting individuals and families and everyone else. We heard things this morning about being ambassadors and spreading the word, spreading that touch. How are we really helping those people that are in need and raising the level of communities that we all work in, whether it's Montgomery County, Greene County, or Preble County? The reality is we're all here for the same reason. We're all here for the right reason. And I really want to thank each and every one of you for being creative. You heard some really great ideas this morning. You heard some things like, everything from throwing on a prom for our employees, to doing a cruise in, actually giving employees time off for making donations, to then the spirit of matching what those donations are, to build the pot, to build the donations and provide more support. One of the things that we've been discussing internally that I know you all have discussed externally is the increased pressure that we're all under, not just for the last couple of years, but how that pressure still continues, whether it's the pandemic or whether it's now increased inflation and purchasing concerns that not only we have on behalf of our companies, the agencies that we support, but our own employees. We have to think through our own filters. What does that mean in times of giving? And everything that you've all said this morning are those same reasons of why giving still is critical. You know, it's all those things I just summarized and all the things that you just said. It's helping everyone understand why giving to United Way remains a top priority, a top concern, and why it has value and why it brings back trust for all those employees. Regardless of what's happening out there, we are here to continue the work that has to be done. We're here to continue providing support for families. We're here to continue coordination among agencies in the community. You know, we've talked this morning about strong families. We talked a little bit about 211 and HelpLink and VetsLink. They're those core basic needs that will always have to have support, you know, whether it's things like the food bank, it's things like domestic violence prevention and support. We talked about freedom schools a little bit and how that leads into summer programming. And then on an ongoing basis, we're in the after school programming arena. There's a little bit shared about Prosperity this morning and the fact that we are providing access to individuals and families who need other supports, access to other resources to help leverage the finances they have in their pocket, so to speak. How do we broaden their advantages? How do we broaden what they can their reach is, and give them a little bit of a hand up or a step up, in addition to their own resources and their own income that they're generating? So how are we doing all those things, and how are we preparing people, and how are we working through whatever this new normal is? So we're all here to embrace that. We're happy to be working with each and every one of you. We're here to provide the supports that you need in your own campaigning, your own fundraising, and we want to do everything we can to support whatever those needs are. We're a phone call away, whether it's Antoinette, whether it's Terry, whether it's Tracy, whether it's anyone who's on, whether it's me, whether any of us need to come out and be assistive, whether we need to be on a Zoom call, whether we need to be present in some fashion with you. Never hesitate to be in touch with any of us, myself included. We're willing to roll up our sleeves and do whatever you need us to do in partnership. So please don't forget that. You know, Antoinette has touched on a couple of things I was going to mention. Ed and SRC, thank you again for your interest and your willingness to support the Strong Families Golf Classic. As you've already heard a couple of times, there is still registration available if you're a golfer and you want to participate. You can get in touch with Rebecca Cantrell at Rebecca C at Dayton-unitedway.org. You can also visit our website and get access directly to the Strong Families Classic. I also want to thank SearTech for being a sponsor in the Strong Families Golf Classic. I want to thank each and every one of you who have participated this morning. I want to thank each and every one of you again for the campaigns that you run. I also want to challenge you. Think about other companies. Think about those you work with. Think about your vendor bases. Think about how much you already care about United Way, but think about that other leverage you have in and throughout the communities that we serve through Preble, Greene, and Montgomery counties. Maybe there's another door that you can open that can be a resource for us in partnership with you. I am more than happy to visit anyone that you can make available as a contact. The same applies to Antoinette. It applies to Rebecca in Greene County. It applies to Claudia in Preble County. You know, all of us are a team, and we're more than happy to go in and explore those opportunities. If you can make any of them available to us, we would certainly appreciate it. Our key challenge is growing United Way, in growing the work we can do in these communities, in doing everything we can to make more individuals and more families stronger, more present, more able to succeed. That is what our goal is. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and talk forever. I thank you for your attention this morning. We want to be great partners with you, and we appreciate each and everything that you're doing. So help us help you, and thank you for everything you do to keep United Way strong throughout this region. Thank you very much. Have a great morning, have a great day, and have a great campaign season on behalf of United Way. Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for everyone that you touch. Thank you. Danielle, I'll turn it back to you for whatever technical things need to happen to close us out. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Antoinette. So yeah, again, if you have any questions one last time, please put them in the chat box below. But if you do have a question, please feel free to reach out to your United Way rep. And if you don't know, you can reach out to me. My email is Daniela, DANIELAB as in boy, at Dayton-unitedway.org. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming on here, and also thank everyone for shifting to the new fundraising summit that was happening today. We definitely appreciate that. And
Daniela, can I make one more quick thank you? I'm sorry. Kintner Sellers, who sponsored this morning's session. I should have come back once again to thank Kintner Sellers for sponsoring the fundraising session this morning. So please excuse me and allow me to make that thank you once again. Daniela, back to you.
Definitely. Thank you to Kintner Sellers for sponsoring this. It was an amazing sponsorship for us. And again, if you have any questions, Antoinette Hampton in the chat just put my email, Rebecca Cantrell, who's head of Greene County for the Strong Families Golf Classic and anything in Greene County, and also Antoinette Hampton, our VP of Development. All are in the chat box. So if you have any questions, take a second to screenshot or write that down. But again, I want to thank everyone for coming, and the fundraising summit is over with everyone getting 9 minutes back to spare. So we like to have everyone's time be managed and valuable. So thank you, everyone. Again, the emails are in the chat box. And if you have any questions, reach out to any one of the people listed or your United Way rep. Thank you, everyone. And I do not see any questions in the chat box.